Hello everyone, here are the latest market news on December the 10th, 2019. French watchdog AMF fines Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley was fined 20 million euros, $22.1 million by French regulator after the bank's London desk was accused for manipulation of sovereign bond prices. The Autorite Marches Financier's enforcement committee said that the bank manipulated the prices of 14 French government bonds and 8 Belgian bonds in June 2015. The lender also manipulated the price of a French government bond futures contract, the AMF said in a statement Tuesday. In turn, Morgan Stanley said it absolutely and categorically rejects the AMF's allegations. Stephane Benouville, a lawyer for the bank, said that fining Morgan Stanley would send a message that market makers aren't allowed to hedge themselves and exit risky positions. U.S. lawmakers agrees a new defense bill. The U.S. House of Representatives and Senate Armed Services Committees announced an agreement on Monday on a compromise version of the National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, setting new measures for combating with Russia and China, family leave for federal workers, and the creation of President Donald Trump's long-desired Space Force. This bill also calls for sanctions on Turkey over its purchase of a Russian missile defense system and a tough response to North Korea's efforts to develop nuclear weapons. The legislation includes $658.4 billion for the Department of Defense and Department of Energy National Security Programs, $71.5 billion to pay for ongoing foreign wars known as Overseas Contingency Operations Funding, and $5.3 billion in emergency funding for repairs of damage from extreme weather and natural disasters. Global stocks fall amid concerns over new tariffs. Global share market slightly declined on Tuesday as investors were concerned over a December the 15th deadline for the next round of U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports to take effect. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan was down 0.17%, with China's benchmark Shanghai Composite Index lost 0.08%. Meantime, Australian shares were 0.34% lower, while Japan's Nikkei dropped 0.08%. European equity futures also showed similar small moves. Pan-Region Eurostoxx 50 futures declined 0.03%, and German DAX futures slipped 0.14% in early trade, while FTSE futures added 0.1%. Subdued trade followed weakness on Wall Street overnight. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 0.38% to 27,909.6. The S&P 500 tumbled 0.32% to 3,135.96, and the Nasdaq Composite dropped 0.4% to 8,629.83. Oil prices steady on expected U.S. stocks drop. Oil prices were steady near a 12-week high as investors waited a forecast drop in American crude stockpiles against a looming deadline for the U.S. to impose more tariffs on China. U.S. stockpiles shrunk by 2.5 million barrels last week, a Bloomberg survey showed before government data due Wednesday. It would be the second straight weekly drop in U.S. inventories if this survey is confirmed by Energy Information Administration data. Brent crude contracts for February delivery declined 4 cents to $64.21 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate for January settlement fell 5 cents to $58.97 a barrel.